On today's episode of Sweet Independence, you're going to find out if doing your taxes is comparable to a blowout, a brow wax, or a full Brazilian. Welcome to Sweet Independence, the podcast for beauty professionals ready to build the business of their dreams. I'm Kristen Kinzel, founder of Utopia Modern Salon Suites. With 34 years in this industry, I've seen firsthand the power of independence and community. We'll ditch the stress, unlock your potential, and give you the clarity and confidence to thrive. Get ready to transform your career and build the fulfilling life you deserve. Your flourishing future starts now. Welcome back to our podcast. Today we're sitting down with Ryan Kittrell with Kittrell and Claskin CPAs.
Hey, Kristen. Thanks for having me.
So Ryan, introduce yourself and tell us how you help small businesses and what you do.
Sure. I'm Ryan Kittrell, a CPA with Kittrell and Claskin. It's a CPA firm geared towards helping small businesses. We provide bookkeeping, payroll, advisory, and tax preparation and planning.
The reason we wanted to have Ryan on is because he's actually our CPA. We trust him greatly and know that he has a lot of insight that he can share that will be very interesting to other beauty professionals.
I don't know if it'll be interesting, but Kristen, I appreciate you having me on. This is an honor to sit with your podcast.
So Ryan, you've been working with beauty professionals for years. What are some of the interesting things you find about our industry from a tax perspective or accounting?
I think the interesting thing about the beauty pro industry, and I want to thank you and Coach Lee Gray for helping us get into this niche a little bit. But the interesting thing is self-employed beauty pros have a lot going for them. They're typically pretty dedicated to their craft. They want to do well. I have noticed that a large majority of them are anxious about their bookkeeping. They're anxious about their taxes. It is not something that they want to deal with.
Exactly. We don't have the brain for it. As beauty professionals, we tend to be more creative. So
right.
I find so much value when people in our salons work with you or even another CPA because they are structuring all of their finances so well so that they can enjoy their incomes while also not having to be stressed about taxes. And I think it's very beneficial for them and their business to work with someone and know that all those things are taken care of.
I know that for most of them, that coming to see me is not at the top of their list of things that they want to do, but the ones that take care of their books for their business, take care of their taxes with me or whoever else, they're ahead of the game.
It's especially important for someone who wants to go independent. When someone comes into a suite, they instantly become a small business owner. And there's a lot of responsibility that goes with that. And like you said, they are excellent at their craft and they care about their craft. They take really great care of their clients, but sometimes they overlook the details of their personal finances and their business finances and books.
Right. And it can be very overwhelming with the amount of things that are coming out, pop up on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. You're kind of bombarded with a bunch of information about how easy it is. But at the same time, there's lots of information and it all doesn't all mesh with each other. So it makes it pretty hard.
I have a story about that. We recently had some new things come out that affect beauty professionals regarding tips and things like that. And I saw it coming out on social media and I got worried that our beauty professionals would take that information as real truth, which some of it may or may not be. And I reached out to you to say, hey, help us communicate this to our network of beauty professionals so that it's communicated properly and professionally. And I thought it was interesting how you were working on that at the exact same time. Like our thoughts collided on that.
Yes, I was very excited. The Big Beautiful Bill, very excited for beauty pros because of that deduction, but there are some rules around it. It's not no tax on tips. It's no income tax on tips. It's still subject to payroll tax. So, and there's AGI limitations and all that. I won't get into all that, but there are some rules around it that haven't been pushed out on social media as much as they probably should be if you're going to let everyone know that there's no tax on tips.
Right. That's a perfect example of why these small business owners need to be working with someone like you, because they're taking that information as gospel, and it's very misleading if you don't know all of the details and the loopholes, which I didn't know them either. So you were very enlightening when you helped us push out the details of that information.
Yeah, thank you. Working with me or someone like me, or just getting educated yourself, any one of those three things will set you up for success.
And there is a lot of good information on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, but it's always definitely worth fact checking, especially when it comes to taxes and...
Absolutely. The social media, it could get your mind running on some potential questions to ask someone that is an expert. And my mindset is, if you see it and you want to ask a question about it, ask it. There's no question that shouldn't be asked if you feel it's relevant.
That's great advice. That's good. So, because we've already determined that beauty professionals don't tend to be wired to think about these things, however we know we need to, do you have any suggestions for a really super simple system that we can easily implement that will help and help us keep track of things and be ready to pay taxes and understand the basics? Is there a simple system for implementing healthy habits in your business?
Healthy financial habits, I would say yes. The number one rule that beauty pros should follow when they're starting their business and they're starting to take on clients is have a business bank account. Don't mix your personal expenses with your business expenses, because that's a great way to start the confusion. On top of that, there's missed deductions, because if you've got it all intermingled, it may be hard later on when you're trying to address this stuff and enter your expense into your tax software or give it to your CPA to find all that stuff that's buried in your personal account. If you have all of your business income and expenses going into a business checking account, that makes it very simple to say, hey, I may not know exactly what to do with all of these things, but I do know that they all are related to my business. So here you go. That would be the super simple way to do it. But then you have to, pay someone or have someone that's good with spreadsheets and good with knowing what category that stuff would go into, take care of that stuff for you. But at least you have, here's the bundle of income and expenses, rather than having them kind of interspersed with personal stuff.
And that's very simple. So at the very minimum, have one checking account for your income to go in and your expenses to go out.
Yeah. And I would say you could double up on that, get a business credit card. If you're good with managing a credit card, I mean, the points can be pretty amazing when you're buying all your supplies and stuff to get that 2% cash back or travel points or whatever. So you could do the same thing with a credit card, but again, keep them both
separate,
business only.
Yeah, that's good. So then at what point would you recommend a beauty professional is ready to hire someone like you and or your bookkeeper to help with their day-to-day, month-to-month needs, as well as their taxes?
It all depends on their level of competency, willingness, or wanting to mess with the stuff past the bank account and the credit card, and how large they feel that their business is going to go out of the gate. So I've had people come to us not having started their business yet, but ready to start their business. We talk about startup expenses and stuff like that. So my answer is it depends, as is a pretty common answer in our industry, but it depends on what they're wanting. Do they want to spend a lot of time on their books, or do they want to spend their time being creative and cutting hair and letting us take care of that? Do they love Excel spreadsheets and stuff like that, like I do? Then go for it. And we also have the ability for them to work with us and other CPA firms do, and they could ask questions as they go throughout the year.
So we've talked about having a separate account for business transactions only. What are some things that a beauty professional should be looking for in that account that could be potential deductions?
Almost everything that they're spending, as long as it's a business expense that's for their business, almost everything will be deductible in one form or another. Now, not always everything. If you think that your Botox is deductible for yourself, it's not.
Really? Even if it means you looked the part in your business?
No. And we've had that question and similar questions. It is not something to make yourself look better in the eyes of your client. as far as like manicures and Botox, and had a laser sculpting question, those would not be deductible expenses. So in that case, maybe you paid for it through your business account. It's a personal expense. So in most cases, that'd be a draw.
So what's the craziest thing you've ever seen a beauty professional try to do that?
So my answer would be the Botox or the laser sculpting. We had a guy that was trying to deduct his country club dues, which we thought that was interesting. But really, at this point, we see everything. So nothing is too surprising.
So there's no way to deduct your country club dues?
No, I'll not. Typically not, no. But I will say, again, it doesn't hurt to ask. Because sometimes people will ask things that I'm like, yes, that's deductible. It's kind of obvious, but it's not obvious to them. So,
what about clothes or shoes that you only wear to work?
It depends on perhaps your industry. If the clothes or shoes are something that you could wear out in public, that would be fine. No, if it's scrubs or something like that, then yes.
Okay.
And let me caveat that with probably.
I think most of your answers will be, it depends.
Correct. Yeah. It always depends on the circumstances, and something that beauty pros could remember is 3 words: ordinary, necessary, reasonable. Those are good first things that you can think about on your own. And then if in your mind they pass all of those, ordinary, necessary, reasonable, then good opportunity for you to ask your expert what they think about that. And then they could say yes, they could say, let me look into it. They could say no right off the bat, but they'll be able to research that. Them hearing why it's ordinary, necessary, and reasonable to you is helpful to them, because no CPA knows everything. So,
well, and sometimes in our industry, it is important to how you present yourself. So for example, if I'm going to carry, a computer bag or a tote bag or something, and it happens to be a designer brand, is that an issue as far as being able to write that off versus something I pick up maybe at Target that does the same job, but it costs more because it's a designer brand?
Yeah, and there we key in on sounds ordinary, sounds necessary, is it reasonable? And then we look at how much it costs, and what would be the average kind of cost of a tote bag that somebody's carrying around. If your tote bag that you're buying, your designer tote bag is, 10, 20, 30 times the regular amount, that's not reasonable.
I see. So we talked about some things that are not deductible, but what are some things that beauty professionals don't realize are deductible that maybe they're missing?
There's a lot of very common expenses. So supplies are a given. Things that are deductible that they might not know are deductible. I think the big one is continuing ed stuff and travel related to that. Again, there's it depends there, depending on the circumstances of what all's involved. But continuing ed is typically deductible, and the travel that may happen because of that, the registration for continuing ed, the registration is obviously part of that. And then the travel business mileage is one that is not necessarily tracked in your business checking. You got to track your mileage, but mileage would be one that I think a lot aren't tracking, and it could be a valuable deduction.
So the beauty pros who thrive the most in their business are the ones who do what?
So even though they're creatives and they don't necessarily like it, if they can stay disciplined enough to take a look at their books, take a look at the story that their books are telling them monthly. It's not just taxes. You gain a lot of benefit from looking at your P&L or your metrics. I would say once a month, at least quarterly. And what are they telling you? Is there an expense that's getting really high, or their sales down and they haven't recognized it? Things like that. The beauty pros that are disciplined enough to do something that they don't like to do once a month for 30 minutes, an hour, whatever, those are the ones that are going to thrive financially. The second part of that is do something with the information. Look at it and see what story it's telling you, and kind of have an action plan based off that. Whether it's doing great, keep going the way I am, or that shouldn't be spending that much money on that.
I think it gets real easy to spend a lot of money on your business and get in the mindset that, oh, it's just a tax deduction. I hear that a lot. Oh, that's a write-off. That's a write-off. And so they get crazy with spending because they perceive it as a write-off, like it's not real money.
Yes, and that's a common thing, not just among beauty pros, is to say it's fine, it's a tax write-off. No tax write-off. Well, again, it depends, but most tax write-offs are not dollar for dollar. You know, at the most, 37%. So you're saving. You don't want to save 30 cents. You don't want to spend $1 to save 30 cents. One of the best examples I have of this generally is I'm going to purchase a vehicle through my business account, and it's going to be a business write-off. There's a whole bunch of caveats and stuff to that too. But if you're spending $30, $40, $50,000 and writing off a vehicle, let's say that all happens and works out perfectly, you're saving 30% of that at the maximum. You're probably saving a lot less than that. And then you depreciate that and expense it or whatever. When you sell the vehicle, your depreciations are captured, so you're paying tax on that. It's not a good deal. I want beauty pros to be in the business of building their business, building their wealth, not lowering their taxes to the lowest level possible. The goal should be, yes, take advantage of every tax deduction you can, but don't spend money just for the sake of spending money and having a tax write-off. Use that money to grow your business and grow your wealth.
On the flip side of this, and you and I have had this conversation a couple of years ago, don't not make money because of the tax implication. Don't increase your pricing because you'll make more money and your tax bill will be higher.
Yeah, that's another somewhat common misconception. Our tax rates are progressive. You're normally not paying 100% taxes on your income. So to say to yourself, if I raise my prices, I'm just going to pay more taxes. You are going to pay more taxes, but you're also going to make more money, and you're making more money than the taxes that you're paying.
That's important. I do hear that mindset a lot. Well, if I've really got to cap my income or I'll end up paying more taxes. I don't know. You made that clear to me a long time ago because I think I was dabbling in that mindset. And you were like, it's always better to make more money. You will have to pay more taxes, but you'll still make more money.
Right.
So talking about mindset, there are other mindset challenges I see with the people who work in our salons. They get major anxiety when tax time comes around because mostly I think they don't know what to expect. They're inexperienced and they're disorganized and they're not working with someone like you. They're trying to do it on their own and they don't know what they don't know. So how do you help someone when they come to you and they're very anxious and have anxiety about all this?
Well, that is common, and we try to put them at ease and let them know that what they're experiencing is common and we're not there to judge. I think beauty pros will come in with very common, normal issues and things, accounting work that needs to be done, but they're, for some reason, embarrassed by it.
Mm-hmm. I can relate to that.
And I can say it and they're still going to be embarrassed by it, but there's no need to be. We see lots of things, and just coming in and not knowing what you don't know is fine. That's why we're here. If they knew everything, you wouldn't need me.
Yeah. I appreciate that about you because you do tend to go in when you're showing someone all of your finances. It's a lot of decisions you've made. And when someone like you as a professional is looking at that, it's easy to feel judged. And I appreciate that you don't ever make me feel judged, but sometimes I do kind of get anxious about, okay, what's Ryan going to think of this financial decision that I've made?
Yeah. And it's never the case where I'm thinking, oh my gosh, Kristen, how could you? I'm not judging you. It's part of our job.
I think the bottom line is that you're the expert in finances. We are not. And we are the expert in what we do. And so, you're there to help us do what we do better. And we need to enlist you to help us stay in our lane and succeed.
Yeah, I was thinking about this is why I pay more for my hair to get done. I forgot to schedule my auto I forgot to schedule my appointment, so my hair is looking a little shaggy now, but I don't know what to do with my hair. I don't know a thing about it. So I go to a beauty pro that knows what they're doing. I don't go to Snip and Clip and get it murdered. Sorry, Snip and Clip. I go to someone, and it's so nice to go in there and them ask me questions, and I don't know. They ask me the same questions. That's not.
It's a trust issue. You know, they're the experts, so you trust them to make better decisions for how your hair should look.
Right. And I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, it makes it something that you don't have to worry about. That's how I feel about working with you. And I feel like I say that a lot in a lot of different circles, but it's nice to know that all of my finances are taken care of. My taxes are prepared properly. I'm ready for what's coming. And I know that you're watching what's going on in my business and keeping an eye on things and pointing them out to me by sending me reports that I do not enjoy looking at. But it does make a difference, and it does move the needle.
Taxes and accounting are not the be-all, end-all piece of this. The big piece of it is growing your business and being able to focus on your business and build up that income for yourself and do what you love to do.
So have you been able to see people who start their business and they're not working with you or maybe anyone, and they come to you and you start working together and their business improves and they are able to take home more money and really watch their metrics and do better?
Yes. One of the things that I love is when we're sitting down on our mid-year planning or our first planning session together, projection planning, and we kind of go through how we came up with the projection. We try to keep it from being so boring. A good marker is when we see Kristen's eyes glaze over when we're doing that with her. But almost every time, at least in that first meeting, we hear, "Oh, I didn't know that. Nobody ever explained that to me before." Mm-hmm. And when that light bulb comes on, it's a good sign because they can go forth and do good things with that information, and it kind of helps them maybe make adjustments with whatever we're talking about.
So you just explained that in general terms. Do you have any good stories?
I don't know if it's a good story, but a client that I'm very proud of in the beauty pro industry, that they've gotten to the point where they've got a very good business. They've got lots of employees. And when she came to us, there was notices coming in from the IRS. When we started working with her, it's probably at least 2 years that we were still getting notices from the IRS.
Oh, how scary.
And from Kansas about things that had occurred previous to our engagement. And this person is a creative, very good at running her business, does not like accounting, kind of like what we've been talking about. But her business is at the level where a monthly meeting is appropriate. So we meet monthly, we go over her financials, we go over any questions, concerns, or what's going on in her world that could affect her finances, what she's worried about. We go over her budget and her forecast. And due to this, the notices have basically stopped, and she's taken a good salary from her business and she's showing good profits. So she's got cash in the bank. I don't think she's ever going to not be nervous about her business. As a business owner, I'm nervous. Everybody's nervous all the time, no matter how good it is. But she's set up. She's got some backdrop now, some backing for if things do go wrong. And she's not continually stressing about what's going to come today. How much am I going to owe this month to the IRS?
You're right about, as business owners, we are always worried. No matter how good things look on paper on any given day or any given month, you're always worried, always worried. It's never enough because there's so much uncertainty. I will tell you, and she probably feels this way too, sometimes I go into our meetings thinking, oh no, he's going to tell me it's bad. And when you tell me it's good and I'm on the right track, that gives me a lot of confidence. It sometimes lasts for a few hours or a few days, but it's very beneficial to hear that from you. And so I'm sure she really has appreciated that.
And what we're here for is not necessarily to say every month or every quarter or twice a year or whatever, you're doing great. We tell you the truth.
Yeah.
But the thing is we're telling you now to prevent or prepare for what's coming.
But knowing you're telling the truth is so valuable, because when you say it's good, like I said, I believe that it's good. And when you say, hey, we need to readjust some things, there's some things we need to watch or maybe worry about, I take that seriously as well. There's a lot of confidence in having an expert like yourself in our business.
Yep. And the thing I commend her on, again, is that discipline to do something that she doesn't like to do. And she knows that she doesn't like to do it, so she's got it scheduled and she gets it done, and then she moves on.
That's a great idea, to schedule it. That's something everybody should be doing. I'll take that advice. Put it on your calendar. How often do you recommend did you say once a month we should
I would say
30?
For most, once a month. If you're slower than that, then I would say at least once a quarter.
Would you recommend at the first of the month or the end of the month, or is there anything?
Whenever makes sense for them. Every beauty pros have so many different things going on and agendas and schedules. It's whatever works for them.
That's a great actionable item, though. We as beauty pros do run on schedules. We have books and appointments that dictate everything we do every single day, but to block that off on a schedule, I think would be very valuable. I think that's a challenge I will give myself, and I hope someone else will take that. I'll put it on my schedule and force myself to do it.
Good.
Then if I don't, I'll feel guilty.
No.
So as we wrap up, and I think we've done a great job of making accounting and taxes sound interesting and relevant, but I want to ask you something for fun. So if you had to compare doing taxes to a beauty service, would you compare it to a blowout, a brow wax, or a full Brazilian?
So
do you know what a Brazilian is?
I do know what a Brazilian is. I've only had one of those services. I'll let the audience guess which one.
Okay.
But I actually had to ask my firm administrator, Lori, this morning what a blowout was. So that doesn't sound bad. The brow wax would be my answer for most. But again, it depends on the person and how anxious or excruciating they feel like meeting with the tax professional is. But I would say for most, probably the brow wax. I know it's not fun, but it is bearable.
Yeah.
And
the results are nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good. Well played, Ryan. Well, thank you for doing this today, Ryan. This is extremely valuable information, and I think we've actually made talking taxes and accounting kind of fun. So how can people reach out to you?
Well, before that, Kristen, thanks so much for having me. It's always fun chatting with you, and to get to do it in this environment is nice. People can reach out to us at our website, www.kittrellclaskandcpa.com.
We will put that information in the show notes, so you can just click the link there. Thank you so much for listening. We also want to give a shout out to Michaela Wise for letting us use her suite here at our Tyler Point location. She's a hairstylist and taking the day off, so we're excited to be in her space. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you've enjoyed this episode, be sure and share it with a friend. We'll see you next time.
This show is part of the ICT Podcast Network. For more information, visit ictpod.net.